Hi, this is Jan Hibbard from Log Cabin Leather for another session of my Workshop Wednesday series. So today I'm going to be talking about my new Paradise collection and how the designs were created originally and so forth. I apologize for my furnace running in the background here. I may actually wait a minute and start this a little bit in a second. Let's just wait a minute for that to stop. Um, Again, so my Paradise collection, again, I don't know if you can see it sitting here on this table over here. These are some of the components from the new collection, the Paradise pendants, the earrings, and the barrettes that went with it. I had two different size hearts. I have the fancier one that has the 14 karat gold earrings and the coral and things in it. So those were part of my new Paradise collection that just came out on Monday. So today I'm really going to talk about how these things were created. I come up with my designs really. I mean, everything I make, I pretty much make myself. I make my own patterns, and I've talked about my tooling designs. But again, as far as the style that I was going to make the pendants, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I just wanted, to make something. I wanted to have some dimension to it. I didn't want it to just a flat. I mean, the feathers have some dimension to it, but I wanted a little bit more than that. So I start with paper and I start cutting things out. So again, today, that's really what I'm going to talk about is how I create my patterns. And this is pretty much all my patterns for everything. If I'm making a book cover, I'm cutting a pattern on a paper. Thank you. I apologize for that. So actually, I'm going to start all over again here. Good morning. My name is Jan Hibbard from Log Cabin Leather by Jan. And this is another session of Workshop Wednesday. I'm here in my basement workshop of my log cabin home where all my products are made. Today, I'm here to talk about, again, this whole month I've been talking about my leather jewelry. My new collection, the Paradise collection, just launched on Monday. Here are some components behind me from it. And so today I'm really going to talk about how I came up with a design for that product line and how I make my patterns and things like that. Everything I do is done by me. I'm a one-person show. I don't have anybody else that works for me or helps me out. Everything is done by me. Most of my designs are created, a lot by customer or, input from others. Not usually family and friends too much. I mean, although my daughter, colors and things like that. But yes, as far as design, not so much. I have a friend that was a jeweler though, and she suggested I make some pendants rather than just, complete necklaces like I have. So that's where this collection started out. And how all my collections start out really is, paper, and I don't even really draw the designs out. If I'm going to make a notebook, which again, next month I'm going to talk about some of my notebooks and things like that, I, kind of draw something out on a piece of, really I cut. I don't draw. I start with a piece of paper. It has nothing drawn on it. And if I'm going to make a pattern, I just pick up a pair of scissors and I start cutting. So if I'm going to cut a pendant, again, I was thinking pendant shapes. This is one I just did. So I'm trying some new things, and then that would be, formed and shaped a little bit. Kind of like the feathers I was going to, just these are some random things I'm trying now. So these are experiments. But again, I start with a piece of paper and I just start cutting into a shape that, I think is interesting. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And that's, so if I was trying to do pendants, maybe shapes, because I'm trying to get something longer, a little bit bigger. But the hearts, again, the Paradise pendants come in two different sizes. There's a tender heart collection, which is these smaller hearts. And then there's the the tropical hearts, which are slightly bigger. Not a whole lot difference in size. The feathers are a little bit bigger. And then the precious hearts have the larger heart, and they have coral and things in it. So again, this is my prototype, which is a heart shape with a feather in it, because I still wanted to do something with a feather, so it kind of went with some of the other stuff. So again, the heart was something I randomly cut out, and again, I really wasn't thinking Valentine's Day or anything, but I kind of liked the way you could form it, because I was kind of thinking flowers. I mean, I'd love to do butterfly, but those are kind of intricate shapes to cut, and at this point, cutting by hand, a lot of it's too fine. Again, a heart isn't too bad, but little feathers and stuff, too much smaller than this. It's hard to cut these single little things out by hand, um, and so forth. So that's something I'm actually looking into, is maybe a laser cutter. If there's anybody out there that watches this and you know anything about laser cutters, I'd love to have a comment on what you think about them. If you've used one before for cutting leather specifically, I know there's some out there, but they talk about special leathers and stuff you have to use, and I want to use the leather I have, and not, that's the whole purpose, is to cut the leather I have into the pieces I want. But again, so that's how patterns are made. I have all sorts of like barrette shape, so if I want to make something, I'm folding paper. And so the patterns are not exactly, this is thinner paper to start with. But again, the patterns, in all honesty, are not perfect. Because if it's not folded exactly, it's not going to come out perfect. And, for a barrette or something, I do a lot of fancy shapes. And then I might, these might be stick barrettes and things like that. Okay, that's kind of a pretty one. And they're cut like that. And basically, if I like it, that's the pattern. And that's what I trace on leather, and then I have to cut it out. And of course, the little intricate details and things like that, that is hard to cut. That's why I'm thinking maybe the laser cutter or something, because that would be, better to do. So see, I'm coming up with that. Like I said, that was one I might try for a new pendant. These may just be, prototypes that has a hand tool design on it. Obviously, that's something I've talked about before, that they're stamped in one at a time. So that's a design I created with the tools that are over here. So that's something, I've talked about before. These are not embossed. Now, see, that's what a laser cutter could do. But the detail is not going to be the depth that you get out of the hand tools. So, the laser cutter, I think, could probably produce a design that looks like this, but it isn't going to have the depth into the leather. So when you dye it with the types of dye I do, it makes the impression stand out. You're not going to get that detail, I don't believe. And, to me, the stamping is something I love to do. So this is where I'm on the fence with a laser cutter, because I'd love to have it to cut the things, is more what I'm interested in, rather than putting design on things, because that's the part I like to do. So that's just me. But again, this was another shape I was considering for a pendant. I thought that was kind of pretty. Maybe a teardrop or whatever, So again, I start with pieces of paper. If I like it, I had this one, and I thought maybe that was a little too small. So then I, did something a little bigger. But it's all, it's all random. I'm just cutting pieces of paper, seeing what I like. Then maybe, trying it on a small piece of leather, deciding if that's something I want to do. So that's basically how all the patterns are made. Once I do that, of course, then I trace it onto the backside of the leather, and then I have to cut them all out by hand. So that is where the time comes in. And of course, the different kinds of leather. I use a thinner leather for the earrings and stuff. They don't really have to be thick. Once they're finished and things, it does, the finish on them gives them the stiffness. So see, that's this necklace right here from the collection. That's going to be that one. Similar to that one. So again, and then I've talked about how I've painted them. That I talked about last week, how the color is added, is hand painted. So every single one is going to be a little bit different. I do dip them in a dye first. An eco-friendly water-based dye. I dip them in first, and then once that dries, which is why I can't show the whole process in one time. So, these hats are dipped in pink. And so I think that's actually purple. So, that's for one of the components in this set, the pink hearts. The little feathers too have to be cut, and then they have to be, I dip dye them, and then they're hand painted. So, every set is going to be a little bit different. I have my colors wise. So this is my Fuji Horizon. The pendant has a little feather. This is a smaller heart. The feather in the middle. Yellow, blue, and green. This has what I call my small pair of earrings. And then I have this clip hairpiece. So those are the tender hearts, all of that size earring, same kind of hairpiece. Then I have my tropical heart collection, which is what the Caribbean Waters is part of. It has now the stick hairpiece, the larger heart. This is a pretty teal, shades of teal and brown. And then this has the extra large earrings. So those are, quite a bit different in size. You can see from they're almost twice as big. And now this is called the Precious Hearts. This one has the 14 karat gold ear wires, has the coral in it and the pink stone, and has the clip hair piece. And then the other one in this set also has coral in it, but has sterling silver, the extra large earrings, same size as these, and a stick. So again, the large earrings and the stick are the add-ons that you can buy to the set. So again, this whole month of February, I've really talked about how I create the leather feather jewelry, not particular this collection, but same thing. The pieces are cut, then they're going to be dip dyed, then they're going to be painted, then I start to mold them, then they have a finish that's put on them, then they're assembled. So all those, and all that's done by me. How I attach them, and the little attachment pieces I use is something that I think work well for me, but I have a hard time getting them. And most of my jewelry catalogs, they don't even sell them. So it's something I found one place, and that I used to hook these together. So other jewelers have told me they thought they were very well made. I mean, again, jewelry was not my something I intend to do. I mean, although leather work, all leather is is what I love to do. But again, as far as jewelry, I'm allergic to metal, so jewelry is not something I wear a lot of. I mean, I have my pouch here that is always on me because that's my medicine pouch. This is my new necklace. But again, what's beautiful about these necklaces, they have the leather cord on it, so it's fully adjustable. And, anybody with allergies, you can adjust the necklace to any length you want. So you can, this would be, mine goes longer. It hits my pouch, so I don't have it that. But, so whatever neckline you have, you can adjust these to go with, which I think that's a very unique feature. Most necklaces, if it has a chain or something, you can't adjust it to all different ones. Maybe it has a couple places you can, but not a lot. So I think that makes these very nice because you can adjust it to go with the neckline of your clothing and things like that. So it hangs where you want it to. So see, I like this one to be a little bit higher so it doesn't run into my pouch. So again, that's how these are created. The patterns are cut with scissors, paper. Then sometimes if it's a pattern I really like, then I'm going to cut it out of a little bit thicker paper. These are all recycled things from craft shows and stuff. I mean, I try to recycle as much as I can. And this is, I'm pretty good at cutting things out. I was a teacher for 30 years and I taught preschool. So preschoolers, I would make patterns and things that they could trace if they wanted and cut out themselves. But I did a lot of kind of fancy things with them. So I did a lot of cutting. We'd make life-size models of things for the classroom and stuff. So, and doing estimating and things like that. So I was always cutting things and making masks, 3D models of things and baby, 3D dinosaurs and things like that, and Tyrannosaurus, life-size Tyrannosaurus head and stuff. So I was pretty good at cutting with paper. And so that is one of my strengths. It's something I've just always done as a child. Actually, Valentine's are one of the things that were my favorite to make as a kid, cutting the hearts and stuff. So I don't know if that, I was thinking of my mother. So that is where maybe this collection. My mother's birthday was the day before Valentine's Day. And she is no longer with us. So, and I used to make tons of hearts and Valentines for her. So I don't know if that's what inspired this collection in the back of my head. I really don't know. Again, I'm sorry this, session of the workshop Wednesday wasn't as informative as some of the other ones were. Next month, though, for the whole month of March now, is going to be about the creation of the hand-carved book covers and things. So each month has had a theme. The month of January, I talked about belt making. The month of February was all about the jewelry making. The month of March is going to be all about the book covers. The month of April is going to be all about guitar straps. What's amazing about this, I saw an eagle sitting like this just yesterday. It was in about a tree, not any higher than that. I mean, it was probably 15, not even 15 feet off the ground, right next to the road. And it just posed on the branch like that. It was amazing. That's the closest I've ever been to a live eagle. It's only the third one I've seen here in New Hampshire, and that was on my way to work, so I was very excited about that. It's not far from here. It's I live in New Hampshire, so that was pretty cool. But anyways, this is I love this picture. All my pictures are done one at a time, hand carved. They're all a little bit different, so that's something again I'll be talking about next month. But again, this month was all about the jewelry and the creation of the jewelry, and we've talked some about the the leather leaf jewelry, and again patterns and designs and shapes. I mean, these are based on real plants and things. I've talked about that this month. So the Workshop Wednesday series, I really more about the creation of the product. Maker Monday, I talk about how the stories and how I got started in the collection and how I learned to make the products that I'm discussing on. And then Workshop Wednesday, I'm going to take you into the workshop. And most of them, I will do a little demonstration. It's not made to teach you the craft. It's made to show you what goes into my production and, the time it takes to create the product and that they're one of a kind and things like that. So that's really the intention. It's not really made to teach somebody. I mean, I was a teacher for 30 years. I love to teach, but I like to do the classes in person and things like that. So at craft shows, I do sometimes a make and take workshop where you can sit down and make something like that in there. I have done classes, local classes and things like that for children. So that's something I am considering. I'm not sure quite how to go about doing it at this point anymore, and where it's going to fit into my schedule. So that's something I'm considering, which I would love to do. And then my other series is Spotlight Saturday. So again, I have 3 videos a week that I put out. Spotlight Saturday is highlighting the products. So again, this week I'll be highlighting some of the items from this collection and so forth like that, giving you a link to order them and stuff like that, or get a discount on them. If you join my email, you'll get a discount. So on my Facebook page is a link to join my email. I can put a link after this video, I guess, on how to join my email, and that will give you, if you join, you get a 20% discount, which you can use to buy something from this product line or anything else that's on my website. This is my website. And again, so again, my 3 series, Maker Monday, stories behind how I got started making the products and how I learned the techniques I learned. Wednesday, taking you into the workshop and showing you actually the production of the product and the ideas behind creating it and how I make it. And then Spotlight Saturday, highlighting products for sale. So those are my 3 videos per week at the current time. This one, again, wasn't as informative as I would like it to be, but again, it's really not to teach you. It's to show what's involved. And again, that my patterns are just something that comes from in my head and in my hands. It's, a lot of people ask how you come up with your ideas and things like that. So it comes to me. It's, I don't know, it comes through my head into my hands. I'm not really sure, but it is kind of random like that. And that's pretty much all I have to say for now. I hope you have a great day. I hope you join me again next time. Thanks for now. Bye. Have a great day.